Okay, the idea of this video is to see if a mop wringer would crush grapes okay. And you may have one lying around the house. It might be dirty. If you disassemble it and really clean it up, you might be able to get away with using that if it's just been lightly used. That's what I've done with this one. I've taken it all apart, cleaned it up meticulously, and it was just lightly used in the first place. And I'm going to use this. They sell anywhere from $50 to $100, which is pretty cheap and a lot cheaper than the commercial or individual type grape crushers I've seen online. So let's begin. We're going to add a few parts to this one, but you can just use a cloth in there with the grapes in it and try crushing them and see how it works. Or you can put some screens in there. I've made a few pieces, and let's take a look at those. Alright, these are just the two screens that I made to keep the grapes from going through the larger holes, and the piece of large plastic cutting board over there is just to hold on top of them so they don't come out the top. So the little pieces are just washers to secure them inside the wringer. So I'm going to install them and I'll show you what it looks like. Okay, that's what it looks like with the two screens installed in there, allowing the grape pits to remain behind and be dumped out and the juice to flow down into the bottom. I'll squeeze like that. I may need to put something a little bit larger in here to get a full total crush of the grape. And the piece of plastic cutting board is simply to sit on top of there to hold the grapes in while you crush it. Now that rises up a little bit, so we'll see how it works. But those are the parts assembled. That's all there was to it. Although it did take some time making the patterns to make those. It's just out of thin aluminum. And as I say, you can just try a piece of screen or just simply use a cloth and wrap your grapes in a cloth and crush them in there. You may have to put some buildup in here to get an adequate crush to crush the grape size that you have. So let's go pick some grapes and give it a try. All right, we're about to crush 20 pounds of Midwestern Concord grapes. These grapes have been cleaned individually, as you can see. They're not going to be crushed with the vines on. You could do that, as a commercial grower would do, but the vines and the grapes contain spiders, cobwebs, bird excrement, you name it. These don't. These have all been cleaned and the wine will be better for it. So the idea of this is to see how this mop wringer crusher works. Let's take a look and see how it works the very first time we try it. We're going to dump about a quarter of a mop wringer full of grapes in here and try it out. Alright, we'll start with that for a first time and just see how this works. We won't use the lid, we won't use the board at this point. We'll just give it a try here and see what happens. Okay, that was one squeeze. I think we're going to have to put the board in there. I see a few grapes have made it through, but the juice is making it through as well. We'll do it a few times here. Some of the grapes are working themselves through the sides of the the wringer here, I can see. But the idea is to crush the grapes pretty well. And I think, we're achieving that. We're getting the juice down through there. We'll put some more grapes in there before we clean out the hopper, and we'll crush some more. We'll give you a shot of the front here to show you what's happening. The grapes do work themselves out past the slot down below, and we'll have to bring them out and possibly recrush them again, but possibly not. They've got to be fairly well crushed to even get out past that point. So you can see the grape juice coming out. Obviously we'll have to put that through a piece of cheesecloth or linen in the end. But it seems to be working pretty well, and that's an idea for you as to how it works. You can see the juice down below. All right, we've been working like this with it, squeezing the grapes out, and you can see the quantity of juice down in there. We're going to take this pulp mash, which we have a good sized bowl of it. We are going to run that through a linen, but that's the juicing, and we will squeeze it through a linen yet, and we'll hose this whole unit off, and that's how well it worked. So if you had any ideas of doing that, that's how it worked. I think it worked pretty well. It takes a lot of struggle mashing those grapes otherwise, and this seemed to work pretty well. And I just kept holding down on the pulp as it was in there like that and squeezing it. So give it a try if you want. We're going to strain this stuff out of here and give it another squeeze and make ourselves some wine. Well, in the end, I had a gallon of juice, and I divided that amongst 3-gallon glass bottles. Added 3.5 cups of sugar, water, and 1/4 of a teaspoon of yeast. And I believe it'll come out fine from past experience. Thanks for watching.